All right, Memsaabs, I'm back to talk to you about self-regulation, one of the 5 components of leadership as described by Daniel Goleman. I love self-regulation. It's something that has been the hardest for me to be able to learn, but it's definitely been a worthwhile challenge. It's something that served me very well throughout my career. What is self-regulation? Self-regulation is controlling or redirecting disruptive emotions and impulses. And what this demonstrates when you are able to do it in an effective way is that it demonstrates that you are trustworthy, you have integrity, and that you are comfortable with ambiguity and change. So some of these things are, a lot of times even in job interviews, you might get some questions about like, what did you do when a situation didn't go the way you wanted? That is trying to assess how well you are at self-regulating. And an example of this is, I've been in situations both as a team member as well as a leader, where you are doing a big presentation or you're finally delivering on a big project at the end of a long few months of putting together the work or doing the work to get a project done. And you get to the end and, something goes wrong, and there is definitely, leaders have the urge to scream sometimes because there was so much work leading up to that 1 hour of presenting to a client or that 1 hour of presenting to the boss. And a lot of the future depends on that particular presentation. But with self-regulation, if something did go wrong, if something does go wrong, a good leader, instead of screaming or getting upset immediately at the team, a good leader takes a pause and actually tries to understand where the failure was. What was the failure? Why did it go wrong? And then also explains the consequences to the team while trying to figure out other solutions. So it's a mixture of a few different actions that does not require screaming. And I know it's easier said than done because I've certainly been in those situations, and I think even some people who watch this video who've worked with me can probably attest to the fact that we've been in a few situations where we did a lot of good work, but it was the presentation that was like, this could have been so different and we could have done so much better. Presentation is just one example of it. There are a lot of situations where things go wrong and things don't go as expected. I'm sure this COVID situation has affected a lot of people and their weddings and monumental times in their lives, with the births of their children, with, starting a new job. Every time I've started a new job, we've gone out for a family dinner and celebrated. All those things are, we're not living life the way we're used to living it. Self-regulation is exercised when things don't go as planned and you are able to take those emotions and redirect them. Another example of this is nowadays we're on so many Zoom calls. I mean, I am zoomed out. I'm completely zoomed out. I can't tell you how many Zoom calls I've been on just in the past 4 days, and I have a couple more coming up later today. But, Zoom calls are interesting because you're technically not in a room with people, but you are in a room with people, and you do have to read the room in a different way. So if you are upset about something, what are some ways that you can utilize the tools within the Zoom or whatever digital tool you're using where you can have private conversations with people who are, for example, in charge of the event or admins or facilitators, where you can take your emotions off the larger group call and into a more private discussion where it can be handled in a more professional manner. I only bring this up because everyone's learning Zoom etiquette right now. Like, I don't think anyone's really figured it out because, there's a chat feature, but the chat feature just, sometimes you accidentally can select everyone and not just the person you want to target. So should you message them on a text message, or should you message them on a messaging service like Slack or Teams or something like that? So there's a lot of things happening right now. And so it's really important to take a pause before reacting, especially on various channels. The other place where I would say self-regulation is critical for leaders is social media. It is so critical to ensure that you're not taking your emotions and impulsively writing things or creating content on social media, even if you delete it later on, it's already been viewed, it's already cached somewhere. You can't get rid of it really once it's out there. So that's something that I would highly recommend people think about. On the same token, I think social media is a very powerful channel to share your emotions in a very intentional way. So I'm not saying don't post with emotion and don't post with passion. These things are important, but really decide if that's the emotion that you want to share. When I'm angry, I definitely can probably write an essay and post it up on social media. I'm pretty capable of it. But I think there are other things that I want to convey through my emotions. And through my emotions, I want to convey a sense of action or a sense of accountability to the people that I post at or post to. And I think that's something that I've had to work on. So it's a work in progress. Emotions are very important in how we think about problems and how we think about solving them. And we can't solve problems unless we feel an emotional connection to it. So think about that a little bit. That's my little bit on self-regulation. The next video is going to be on motivation, which is another one of the 5 critical components of being a leader. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this one, share it, like the video on the social media channel, and tell me if you want to learn about anything else. Thanks very much. Bye.